Emotional literacy workshops. This will help teachers to communicate with students, recognize and manage emotions, and increase self-awareness. Emotional literacy workshops focus on helping participants understand, express, and manage emotions effectively. These workshops often include activities aimed at enhancing emotional awareness, empathy, communication skills, and emotional regulation. Here's an example activity in emotional literacy workshops. Emotional awareness and identification. The activity is emotion wheel. The objectives are participants use an emotion wheel to identify and label various emotions. They learn to differentiate between primary and secondary emotions. Discussion. Group discussion on how these emotions feel in the body and how participants respond to them. And the outcome should be improved emotional vocabulary and awareness of emotions. Emotional Museum is a creative and interactive space designed to explore and evoke various emotions, often through art, storytelling, and multisensory experiences. These museums aim to engage visitors on an emotional level, helping them understand, reflect on, and express feelings in a meaningful way. The Museum of Emotions is conceptual. The concept is there's a museum that explores the spectrum of human emotions: joy, sadness, anger, fear, surprise, and love, through art installations, interactive exhibits, and multimedia presentations. Emotional impact is that the museum aims to evoke a range of emotions, encouraging visitors to reflect on their emotional experiences and develop emotional literacy. The key features are emotion rooms. Each room is dedicated to a different emotion and designed to immerse visitors in that feeling. For example, the joy room might feature bright colors, uplifting music, and playful installations, while the sadness room could use muted tones, slow music, and personal stories. Emotion diary. Visitors are encouraged to document their emotional journey throughout the museum, reflecting on how each exhibit made them feel. Interactive installations. Sensory experiences such as touching objects, hearing sounds, or interacting with art that triggers emotional responses.
So the third recommended tools in enhancing emotional intelligence is the mixed emotion cards. So it is a beautiful deck of tarot-like cards of feelings which has a labeled with feelings of emotions. So in this game, each card has an emotional vocabulary word such as mad, happy, anger, and etc. And each word features an illustration and two written scenarios to describe the word. A child reads the card and examines the visuals to understand when they might feel the certain emotions. So let's move on to the number 4, which is the emotion card. So this card has an evocative, playful moon face illustration of emotion, which has an open-ended without labels. So what does it mean? Emotion cards. These emotion cards can be used as a learning experience for students to discover the thoughts, feelings, and behaviors associated with different emotions. And they can also be used as a way to express an emotion of students in struggling so that they can find the words.
Good morning, Mom. Here are the recommended tools in enhancing emotional intelligence. So number 5 is BioDots. So BioDots is a temperature-sensitive device stuck to the skin in order to monitor stress. It changes colors as temperature changes, which is a test of stress level. So I have a picture of this. So here is example of Bioducts. Then bioducts play a crucial role in enhancing emotional intelligence by promoting self-awareness. Number 6 is Bingo Emotions. So, Bingo Emotions is a game designed to help individuals explore and understand different emotions. So, it's a variation of a traditional bingo game, but instead of numbers, the game cards feature various emotions. So, here are some examples of bingo card. So here are the steps on how to play emotion bingo. So distribute the bingo cards. So each player receives an emotion bingo card. Here are some examples of emotion bingo card. Place the emotion word cards. So the emotion word cards are placed in a pile and spread out face down. The game facilitator picks a card. So the facilitator picks an emotion word card and read it aloud. Players check their cards. So players check their bingo cards to see if they have the corresponding emotion. If they do, they cover it with a marker or sheet. So continue picking cards. So the facilitator continues picking emotion word cards and reading them aloud until a player gets a bingo. So when on help in winning this game, you should straight line horizontally, vertically, or diagonally. Then the player who gets a bingo calls out bingo and shares an example of personal experience related to that emotion. Continue playing. The game continues until everyone has had a chance to share their experiences or until multiple bingos are achieved. So, bingo emotion is a fun way to boost emotional intelligence. This game can be played in a various settings, including classroom or even at home with family and friends.
Feeling faces consist of photos of people faces rated by survey participants in various emotions. These ratings consist of basic emotions like happiness and sadness. This data is used in psychology research to understand how facial expressions relate to our emotions, and AI to develop how emotions recognition technology for applications like user-friendly security systems on marketing. However, it's important to remember that emotions are subjective and vary across cultures, and using facial recognition technology raises ethical concerns about your privacy and potential bias. The 6 Seconds Emotional Intelligence Assessment is a comprehensive tool designed to measure and improve your emotional intelligence. It's not just a test that gives you a score, but also provides a framework for understanding your emotional intelligence, strengths, and weaknesses. Here are the actionable tips for improvement. Number 1 is assessment. Number 2 is feedback. Number 3 is the actionable framework like know yourself, choose yourself, and give yourself. 6 Seconds Emotional Intelligence offers a powerful way to gain a deeper understanding of your emotional intelligence and provides a roadmap for improvement.
So another tool in enhancing one's emotional intelligence is the Zoo Animal Workshop. So this activity intends to imitate an animal behavior or gestures that ends with group sharing and reflections. So upon doing this activity, we have 4 steps to consider. We have step 1, animal selection. So in this particular step, a student will choose an animal that resonates with them. So for example, a student named John chooses bear because he loves how the bear possesses a strong personality. Then step 2, we have observation and imitation. So in this step, John will observe how his chosen animal behaves, how he communicates with other, and how he acts. Then also, after observing, John then started to imitate the bear. So he then walks heavily and he tries to show strong personal appearance or strong personal behavior, just like what a bear do. Then also, after the imitation phase, he then started to reflect. He reflected why he chooses that particular animal, and then he also reflected his experience upon doing that activity. Then also, upon reflecting, he then realized that he often masks his vulnerability by showing tough exterior, just like what a bear usually do. Then also, we have the group sharing. This is the last step. So in this step, John shares to the group why he chooses that animal, why he chooses the bear, and what was his experience during the imitation. Then also, this activity helps him realize or acknowledge his other side, which was the softer side of him. Another tool that can enhance one's emotional intelligence is face workshop. So this is an activity in which the partners face each other while expressing various facial expressions and qualities with reflection. So there are also steps we also need to consider in doing this activity. We have step 1, mirroring. Then for example, the pairs named Anna and Claire faces each other, and then Anna started to frown. He showed his furrowed brows and pursed lips. Then his pair Claire tries to replicate. Then he faces Anna. Then upon showing that Anna shows that particular facial expression, he tries to mirror it. He also show an emotion that could relate to frustration, which is a sigh or an exaggerated frown. Then after that, we have step 2, interpretation. So Claire started to interpret the behavior of Anna, or he tries to interpret the facial expression that Anna expresses. So he then started to ask, "You look frustrated. Is something bothering you?" Then after that, we have exploration. Then show different emotions that could relate to frustration. Then lastly, we have the sharing. Then this allows the both of them to explore and explain that there are a spectrum of emotions that can associate with frustration and how they manifest physically. So then after Anna possess or express that facial expression, he shares to Claire that he show that because he's feeling frustrated or he's feeling a little bit ungrateful. So they tries to share to each other what are they feeling, and through that activity they can enhance their self-awareness. So through that activity, they will be aware that they can possess various emotions and qualities that that is influenced by their feelings. The next, we have empathy and understanding. So her pair, which is Claire, started to feel empathy and understanding towards Anna. And then next, we have build relationships. So through that activity, the two of them started sharing to each other how they feel and why they show that particular expression. So through that, they can build relationships wherein they can foster understanding, empathy, and consideration of others' feelings. Thank you.
Everyone, so I will be the one to continue about our topic, and my topic is all about the machine transformer. So the machine transformer participants in groups have to transform into an assigned machine or vehicle. So this activity emphasizes collaboration and problem solving, in which the groups transform into a machine or vehicle, and each member representing a different part of a machine. Like for example, one group might become a car, and each with another member become the engine, another member become the steering wheel, and so on. And they have to work together to move and transform as a car. And this activity the goal of this activity is to promote collaboration, problem solving, and communication. And this activity ends with interaction and reflection. Next is the tower building. Group will be tasked to build a tower using the popstick and straw. So this activity encourages collaboration, problem solving, and communication, in which the groups build the tallest and strongest tower using the popsicle stick and straws. Like for example, one group negotiate who gets to use the materials, how to best the tower, and how to handle setbacks, and the participants have to communicate effectively, work together, and manage potential conflict to achieve the set goal. Because the aim of this activity is to address personnel and collaborate effectively.
So let's continue discussing about the strategies and enhancing emotional intelligence. Number 13, build me a house. The participants in groups will be tasked to build a house using any available materials around them. The goal is to make the strongest house. Then the facilitator will suddenly destroy the house made up a group and the members' emotion and reactions, and let them express their feelings and thoughts. At the end, each one will draw realizations, lessons, and values for education. This part is very understandable because the information of this part is very detailed. It is simply building a house using any available materials or inside the classroom, and after building the house using the available, it is the facilitator will destroy it, and then it just kanang makita nga unsa na ba emotional intelligence o giinsa sa mga estudyante pag-handle sa ilang emotions nga ang ilahang effort will be wasted because of that situation. And then if ito gibutan nyo sa real life situation, let me give you some example. During the Typhoon Odette, Typhoon Odette hits in our country, and it is very destructive. The houses were ruined and destroyed, and then the Typhoon Odette refers to the facilitator that will destroy, and then adto makitaan nga unsa ka resilience ang mga tao ug unsa nila pag-handle lang sa ka-situation ug unsa pag-handle sa ilang emotions, kay we know if something na ay ma-destroy sa atong kinabuhi is nadyo na atong mga emotions nga di kapugnan, og need siya kanang strategies para ma-handle nimo na nga situation. So guys, so class, it is very understandable and no need to further discuss. So let's continue. Number 14, internalization activity. This is an activity that helps participants to reflect on the narrations of the facilitator with the background music in a dim and candle-lighted room. Everyone can express his or her emotions and feelings of resentment, remorse, agony, disappointment, and sadness. So this part is very formal and heartwarming activity, or touch, very kanang makatouch sa imong heart na activity, ug ana jud mo mapagawas nimo ang imuhang mga emotions. So kanang this part is very understandable and detailed also, but let me give you some example. When I was let me give you a sample. When I was a youth member in our church, we have an activity called Tazy Prayer, where there is a part na kanang there is a Bible sharing, and then that Bible sharing is parihapon sa internalization activity nga kanang na ay the one who reads the Bible or refers the narrations of the facilitator, and then we have, or it have background music, and then the background music is Kiss the Rain, which is very emotions when you hear that music. And then there is a candle that kanang nakapalibot sa imuha, mag-circle. Then adto nimo, then after reading ato nga Bible, ug na kanang mong i-share ang part nga naigo ka or na relate nimo ang isa ka verse, and then kato nga verse mo na to ang pamaagi nimo nga kanang makapagawa sa imuhang emotions ug kanang imong mga kasakit sa imong kinabuhi. And then it is very effective because of that music, and then the background or the surroundings is very dark, and then you will realize or makakuan jud ka nga grabe nga makapagwas ka sa imong gibati tungod kay ingana ang pamaagi. So and that's all. It's very simple and detailed, and that's all. Thank you.
So for the last recommended tools in enhancing emotional intelligence is the memorying and unmasking activities. So what does it mean? Each participant shall prepare a piece of paper and put it at his or her back. In a circular formation, everyone is to write that person's negative attitude in that paper, and everyone will be given time to see those feedbacks and reflects on them, while they are also given a chance to express themselves. These negative feedbacks will be called masked to be turned off and burned at the end of the activity, and they will lead to a prayer for self-renewal and rejuvenation.